Isn't this like the coolest charger you've ever seen? It is so tiny, has a USB-C port on the front and the charging pins on the bottom. Unfortunately, it's a US charger, but yeah, so cool. Anyway, another week goes by and yet another breach. Now this time it's 3CX's turn to have their desktop application compromised, and the online reactions I saw across LinkedIn and other socials was mixed. Some people were straight on the warpath. Well, if you didn't use a crappy system with exploits as long as my arm, then this would have never happened to you or your customers in the first place. Others were more breaking news. Others were more educational and helping people with how to respond and the steps they can take to, help fix it. But there is a step that I think that has been missed by so many MSPs. So in this video, I want to explain how you could be using things like the 3CX breach to your advantage and potentially even win new clients by approaching this the right way. Now this does apply regardless of who gets breached and when, so let's just call it a breach response marketing plan, BRMP. Because we all know that like the internal technical response plan when something like this happens is just a very organized process of closing down the breach, figuring out how it happened, and then taking steps to prevent that happening again. So here is my 3-step breach response marketing plan. Now the breach happens, it hits the news. Step 1, notify your customers who are affected. So you hop onto your CRM system, ActiveCampaign, HubSpot, whatever it is, and you just want to send a few emails. Now, the first message you should send should be to say that firstly, you've got their back, that you've taken steps to protect their business along with any workarounds that are currently in place in 3CX's situation. How do they use their phone system when you've just uninstalled it from every computer? Those kind of things. Also, make sure that you tell them when you will next email them with an update and continue to let them know as the situation develops. Step 2, notify all of your customers who aren't affected. Now, this email should simply say, hey, this thing happened, don't worry, you're not affected. But if you do know someone who is affected or does use it, then please ask them to get in touch with us ASAP and we will help them. Now you could even give them the basic steps on how to remove it themselves if it's something simple enough like uninstalling an application. And then step 3, the third email that you should be sending is to all of your prospects. And this one is kind of where some of the magic can happen. Email them to say, hey, this thing has happened and here is exactly how your IT provider should be responding. Now they should be removing it, they should be communicating with you what they've done, they should be offering to help the community, to help other affected businesses. Oh, and if they aren't doing any of that, then here is some detailed instructions on how to remove it, or simply give us a call and we will help you totally free of charge. Because what will happen here is you are setting the gold standard for how you should respond to a critical breach. And you know what? The chances are that their current IT provider hasn't done this. They may have just uninstalled the desktop app immediately, but not communicated this to their customers, which will then confuse and piss off their customers. Or maybe they didn't remove the desktop app, but they did email the customer to say, hey, there's a breach. What do you want us to do about it? Everyone has their own way of responding, in all honesty, but the number one thing that I do know from speaking to all of our customers when we won every customer that we did, and from working with MSPs of all sizes across the globe, is that most of us are actually really shit at communication, which is weird because we're IT companies. So be the one to show them how it's done. Just imagine if you got an email forwarded on from one of your customers and it was an email from one of your competitors with information on the latest breach and how to fix it, and your customer is asking if you have it covered? How crap would that be? The fact that they're having to prompt you. So wouldn't it be better if that was your email that they were forwarding on to others instead? That's all for this week. See you in the next one.